everyone. I'm Kaela Hansen, your co-host at the One Soccer Nation podcast. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Rylan Childers. Rylan previously played for KC Current in the NWSL and now currently plays for Odense Boldklub Q in Denmark. Rylan, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today. How are you?
I'm doing so good. So
You're
happy to be
good.
here.
What time is it for you? Because I know we have a big time difference. What time is it for you right now?
It's 7:30 p.m.
Some therapy. Yeah, you just had training you were telling me, huh?
Yes, we
How was
did.
that?
It was good. It's dark out here very early, so it
It
was a dark
is.
one. But yeah,
What time
it
does
gets
it
dark at
start?
like 4.
At 4?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. It was like that. It was like that when I was in Finland too. But when
Yeah.
it's summertime for you guys, do you guys have like really long like days? Like it's sunny
Yeah.
for a long
It
period
like
of time?
stays light until like 10:30 p.m. It's kind
Yeah,
of
I
crazy.
remember. I remember in Finland we used to like it used to stay like sunny until like 1 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Go dark for like 2 hours, and then be sunny again at like
Wow.
4 a.m.
Dang, that's crazy.
I know. Don't ask me why I know that, but I just do. Okay, let's get into it. So, you've had a highly decorated college career and now an exciting start at Odense. What were some of the most pivotal experiences in college that helped shape you as a player to get to where you are now?
Hmm. Wow, college. Um, let's think. I think we played college together for like 3 seasons. So I
Mm-hmm.
think we both know like we faced a lot of adversity within our own group.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that helps me a lot, just like as a person and a player, of like needing to be able to manage stuff off the field so that we can actually like get on one, like a one goal mindset as a
Mm-hmm.
group. Um, yeah, I think we had to figure out how to do that in college because we had just like, yeah, coaches and players all with different maybe goals and attitudes. And so, yeah, I think our time in college, we learned how, yeah, we have to get on the same page in order to be in any way successful.
Mm-hmm. Which was to kind of like add on to what you said, which was like really hard, I feel like, for like a few years, like to get like 30 people, who have their own things in their life that they're dealing with outside of soccer to kind of get on the same page and the same mindset and like the same goal. It's like hard because you can't force everyone to like get on the same page.
Yeah.
Like, what were some of the things, I don't even remember, but like, what were some of the things that we did to kind of get everyone on the same page, if you can highlight some
Hmm.
of that stuff?
Yeah. I'm trying to think like specifically. We did some like intentional team bonding type things where it was like you had to get to know people outside of soccer.
Mhm.
Like remember we had like coffee dates with
Mhm.
we got like assigned people to have coffee dates with.
And with the
Which
coaches.
like what'd you say?
And with the coaches.
Yeah, and with coaches, yeah. And so I think that was like a good idea. It was like a little forced, so whatever. But
Mhm.
I think it was a good idea of like, hey, if we want to like be able to compete together, we need to know each other better. And so I think it was a good idea to like, yeah, get to know people intentionally. So it's like, okay, like maybe this person doesn't do well when I yell at them on what to do, but if I pull them aside
Mhm.
after, they'll like be able to take that information better. Things like that, I think, helped us. I also think like winning always helps bring unity. And
Mhm.
so I think we lost quite a few games, but when we could win, when we did end up winning, like that was a unifier of like, okay, we saw what we could do. Like, let's carry this with us to the next game. Did it always work? No. But yeah, I would say those are some of the things. And we just need people to like buy into like even if we didn't necessarily maybe agree with what the coaches were saying, it's like we're gonna be even more unsuccessful if we group together against them. It's like we just have to buy into whatever they are saying and like let's just make the most of it.
Mhm. And like going into like KC Current and like now Odense, like did you guys do a lot of stuff like that too, or was it kind of different? Or was it kind of like
Uh,
everyone's kind of more grown and older now, so people have like their own stuff to do?
yeah. I would say my experiences at Casey Current versus where I'm at now are like completely different.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, going into Current, I was like the youngest, the most inexperienced,
Hmm.
like needing to figure out, okay, what is this new culture that I'm trying to be a part of? And then how can I contribute to it, even though I feel like such a small piece.
Yeah.
And I think like the girls just did a good job of like welcoming you in. So we
Yeah.
did preseason at IMG in Florida. So we had like little villas that you lived in. So we had like a little squad of like four of us,
Yeah.
4 or 5 in like each little villa. And so you just did like life stuff together, you know, it's like,
Mhm.
oh, we're all eating together, but then we're like playing games in between trainings and things like that. So like things outside the pitch were just like, let's just be friends, get to know each other, have fun, make memories. And then it makes you like more excited to suit up together
Mhm.
to go play, like go train. And then here, feels much different. I'm one of the older ones, which is kind of weird because I'm like, I still feel like a little girl,
You're
but
not even old.
I'm apparently older here. So that is like, I'm like, okay, I have to be the one that's like initiating getting to know people and like not not wanting to create a culture where it's like us versus them, especially being a foreigner now. It's like, yeah, I know what it's like. We had teammates. I mean, I guess you're from Canada, so you're also a foreigner. Like, yeah, being in a group of Americans, I'm like, okay, well, we have some European or Canadians coming in. Like, how can we let them feel welcomed? And now I'm one of the foreigners, so I'm like, how can I insert myself into these girls' little groups? Because I'm like, I want to be your friends. I want to like figure out what this Danish life is all about. So
Hmm.
I think being more like of an initiator now of like, how can I hang out with girls outside the pitch? That makes it more fun when we're on the pitch together.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like going from like a comfort zone that you're used to like all the way to like a different continent, I feel like it forces you to be like more open and to like get out there more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and also like, you're gonna have a lot of alone time too, because like now we're not in college anymore. We're not going back to our dorms with like three other people.
Yeah.
Like we're like either, living by ourselves or even if we are living with someone, like people like are older now and they have their own things to do. So like we really have like our own time to kind of do our own thing. So I guess it's just
Yeah.
being comfortable with being by ourselves too.
Yeah.
And like,
That would,
and I feel like the nice thing too, like, being in a Scandinavian country or a Norwegian country, they also speak English too. So I feel like there's not really much of a language barrier. I don't know. I
yeah.
want to speak for you, but like at least Emma and Reese were in Denmark too, and they were like, it's nice that, people speak English there too. So it makes it a lot easier to build bonds and connections with people.
Yeah, totally. We have quite a few English speaking girls, like first language English speaking on our
Mhm.
team. So that's already helpful. But then all the girls do know English.
Yeah.
So I'm like, even when we came into the team, there was like some division of English, like they're only speaking Danish, and we're like, we don't know that. But
Yeah.
now it's like girls will first speak English, even if they're like not talking to one of us, which is really nice. I think that's one like made me really grateful that my first time being abroad, I was like with people that were speaking English
Yeah.
because that would be really isolating if like it was only me or only like two of us that I could talk to. So I'm really grateful that they do speak English because that does make it a lot easier to make
Yeah,
friends when you can
I'm
like actually
really,
communicate.
I'm really
Yeah,
grateful.
yeah, I am. I can't deny
Does the coach in English as well?
He does, yeah.
Okay,
He'll
that's
like
nice.
explain it in English and then be like, and you'll need it in Danish. And at the beginning, a lot of girls did, but now girls, they know it. We're sharpening them on their English.
That's
So
good. Give them English
yeah,
classes. That's good though. That makes it much easier when you don't have to think when you're playing soccer, like you can just play soccer. Because
yeah,
when I was in Serbia, they coached in Serbian and that was a whole different level of something else that we won't get into.
yeah. I can't imagine. Good for
But
you.
but I wanna touch on you going from Kansas to Denmark though, because that is a big change. What has the transition? Oh my God. Let me collect myself. What has the transition been like, both on and off the field? Specifically, how have you managed challenges like adapting to a new language, lifestyle, and soccer culture? Because I know it's
Yeah.
very different, like you were saying, but I want to like dive deeper into that and you kind of explain
Yeah,
more.
that's a great question. I was in like Kansas or Missouri like my whole life. Like I grew up on the Missouri side. But
Hmm.
then my first college was like 30 minutes from home, and then KU was like an hour and a half from home. And
Hmm.
then I got drafted to KC Current, so I was still at home. So I've always been home. So then when I was deciding, okay, I want to go play abroad, I don't think I like really let it click that, okay, I am going so far from home. Like, what is this going to be like? And so, one, I'm really grateful for FaceTime. I think I'm like able to keep up with people. I just know from like when I wake up to like 2 p.m., no one's awake yet. So I'm like, during that time, I can't talk to anyone back home. That's fine. Like, how can I fill my time? Um, and then it's like pretty easy to, yeah, FaceTime people, which makes me not feel so lonely, which is good.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I've been able to fill my time with different things. I've read like 18 books this year. It's like
Respect.
absurd amount of books. I know. I don't like what else am I supposed to do? So I've read a lot of books, which has been kind of fun. The lifestyle here, it's like seems a lot more chill than in the US. Like I feel like in the US people are so like work focused of like
Hmm.
we're
I agree with
leaving for
that.
work like 7 to 5 p.m. and then
Mhm.
people pick up their kids or don't or take them to like practice afternoons or whatever. It's just like go, go, go. And people here is like there's like middle schoolers walking around at like 10 a.m. I'm like, you
Mhm.
guys in school? Like, what are you doing? So like it just seems more relaxed. I'm sure they are still in school. I just don't understand the education system here.
Mhm.
But yeah, people are so like
Laid
more
back.
laid back, I feel like. Uh-huh. And very like family oriented. I feel like I see dads like pushing the stroller all the time. I'm like, good for you, you guys. So that's been fun to kind of witness. I'm like, not every culture is the same as what I grew up with of like work
Mhm.
oriented, go, go, go. People are like, yeah, I'm content with this little life I'm living. Some might think it's boring,
Mhm.
but I kind of like it. At least just
Yeah.
like for this season of life. Maybe not a forever thing, but it's been good so far.
Can I ask, do you go back to Europe after your season's done?
Um, yeah,
You
I
do?
do.
Because I was gonna say like the transition from going to like, North America to Europe is like a lot easier, but going from Europe back to North
Mhm.
America, I feel like I don't know. This will be your first time going. I don't, did you go back home in the summertime a
I
little
came
bit?
back in the summer, but just for like 3 weeks, so it
3 weeks.
wasn't very long.
How was that
Yeah,
transition going from Europe back there? Because like I feel like because I've been gone in Finland for like the longest, almost a year. And
yeah,
just coming back here, like you said, like the pace is so different. Like everyone's so chill. They'll go out for a walk, go get a cup of
yeah.
coffee. Like,
Mhm.
their days are so easy. Come back here, everyone still has like their lives that they're doing, the jobs that they're doing. Everything's so quick pace. Like mentally, I'm just like going crazy.
I yeah, I felt that exact thing. I like came home. Me and my sister and her husband and little baby we were going through Costco and they're like, which is, the big grocery store I'm talking about.
Mhm. We got that too. I love
Okay, good.
Costco.
Okay, same. We're like, I'm like just moseying, like my pace of walking has slowed down so much. So
Mhm.
I'm like racing in the store to keep up with them. I'm like, why are we in such a
So
rush? What's
good.
happening? They're like, Rylan, are you okay? I'm like, I mean, yeah, I'm fine, but like, why are we running? Like, what's happening? So yeah, I did feel I was like, can everyone just chill out?
Hmm. That's what I'm telling you. You're there for a while, and that transition going back is different.
It
For
is
sure.
very,
What about on the field? Is like KC Current, like the culture of soccer on the field different than European soccer?
yeah,
Or is there
very
similarities?
different. Yeah, very different. You want similarities? Is that what you said?
Yeah, is there like similarities as well, or is it just mostly different?
Um, I feel like the league that we're playing in now, like we're actually trying to play, so it's not like well, I guess that is still kind of different. I feel like in the NWSL, they rely on like athleticism a lot and less of like technical type things.
Mhm.
And here we rely that on that. But there's also some teams that's like they rely on their athleticism. So I
Mhm.
guess that is still a difference. Yeah, I would say majority is different, especially because at current, like it was everyone's full time job. And here, like we have a lot of girls that it's like their second job.
Mhm.
So that just kind of like makes the environment different of like we're showing like at current it's like everyone's showing up for this chunk of time and we're like able to give whatever is in our cup for that day. And then here it's like kind of different because girls have been at work for the past six
Mhm.
hours and now they're coming to train. So I feel like that's a big difference. But girls are like committed to the game. So it's like we're not making a ton of money, but people are still wanting to play and like
Mhm.
get better and do well in the league. So yeah, I do respect that a lot of like just seeing how people it's not their full-time gig, but they want to give it all.
Mhm.
Um, which is cool. Very, very different though from where I came from.
Yeah. What do you prefer more? Do you prefer more European style soccer or American style soccer? Like, what do you think you fit in to more?
Uh, well, I feel like I'm right in the middle because I'm like not the
Mhm.
most athletic person. Well, I'm definitely not the most athletic person,
More athletic than me, girl.
but but no, that's actually not true.
That does
Um,
not fit.
but I don't
You're really
know.
technical though.
Yeah, but sometimes I'm like, let's go faster, you know?
Hmm.
But that doesn't have to go up. Like, I mean, it's athleticism. So
It definitely gives
I
you
don't
an
know.
edge probably in European soccer though, because you've
Yeah,
come from like you're already technical and that's like basically the base of like European soccer. But like you
yeah.
come from like, athleticism and power and speed and all that. So I feel like it adds to when you're in Europe.
Let's hope so. Let's just hope I'm developing
You're a
all
you're a
around.
top-notch player, girl. So I have
Okay,
no doubt.
easy,
You're a captain
easy.
too. You're a captain too. I
That's
remember
because I'm one of
that.
the older ones. That's what I'm saying.
That's so cool. Being a foreign player and you're a captain, that's crazy. Some people just have natural leading ability and that's you. So
Wow, thanks, Kaela. That is kind of you.
I'm speaking the truth. I only speak truth on here. I don't lie. Okay, so having experience in the US college system, the NWSL with KC Current, and now in the Danish league, how would you compare the playing style, pace, and overall soccer culture between these environments?
Yeah, I would say all very different. College was like kind of just like go, go, go. Um, yeah, I feel like we kind of just played kick it up to the forwards and try to support them and still go forward. So that was unique. And it looks even more unique. I don't know if you've watched games this year of the team, but Raina's still there, so I'm trying to still
Reina scored
involved.
a goal
I
that
know.
took them to they're literally
I
in the
know.
finals. I'm actually so proud of them. At least
I
they could do
same
it.
actually. What'd you say?
I said at least they could do it.
Yeah, I know. I know. I woke up this morning and my mom texted me, Raina just scored 1-0. Next message, 2-1 KU wins. I was like, are you kidding me? Because Raina didn't play at all the past two games. She played 0 minutes in the
Sure
quarters
though.
and or the whatever. And
Yeah,
then she played like 25 and scored a goal. I'm like, what the heck? So
good for
honestly, I
her.
respect that from her. I'm like,
Good for
you
her.
stayed level headed and didn't give up even when they counted you out.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. So college I feel like is very direct and relying on athleticism. I
Mhm.
think NWSL um is also like it's a very transitional game. Like especially now some of the players that are in the league, it's like insane. You can just play through ball and like they're there.
Mhm.
Um, but also the girls are really good. Like they're very athletic, but also very technical. So it is a very transition game. But like when they need to slow it down, they're able to and just like freeze and build. Um, which was cool to train with because I was like kind of in over my head, but I was like getting to learn so much just by being in the sessions and things like that. And
Mhm.
just like the overall level of like people's commitment to the game. Like in
Mhm.
college, you like have some girls who are like, oh, I want to play after college. Some who are like, I'm just riding the wave out, and some who are
Yeah.
like, I like it for now, but I'm done after this. So you don't have that pro for the most part. It's like people are like, well, I'm choosing to do this as my job right now, so I'm gonna give it all I have. And then coming to Danish League, I think, yeah, well, the refs here kind of suck really bad. Like
Mhm.
you can get away with murder, which is like kind of insane. So that was something I definitely have to adjust to because like you'll get fouled, but if like you don't even attempt to play through it, they'll just like go. I'm like, what do you mean? Actually, this past game, this
Mhm.
girl like I steal the ball from her. She literally pulls my shirt, yanks me down. As I'm falling, I grab the ball. The ref calls a handball on me. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, he was like, that wasn't a foul. I was like, she literally was ripping my shirt and threw me on the ground. Like, what do you mean? So I've had to adjust to that of like, okay, I can't, you don't get away with anything. Oh, yeah, you can get away with everything. So, like, if you're being fouled, you just have to keep playing.
The
And that's been kind of
rage.
wild, kind of sketch, honestly, but
No,
it's
the
real.
rage. No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
The referees, and I hope there's no referees listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am from Europe specifically, sorry, but
Yeah.
I feel like not you referees, but the referees I've had, I feel like really bad.
Yeah, it
Really
was
bad.
crazy when I first came in. I was like, how is this not? What do you mean?
Girl, I've gotten, I never got yellow cards in college. You know, but you knew I had a big mouth too. I never got
Yeah.
yellow cards in college, but in Finland, you can't even do a gesture. You can't even go like this.
Oh,
You can't even like, talk loudly to the referee in any way or they'll throw
oh
up a
my
yellow card.
gosh.
Throw up a
Wow.
yellow. The only one who can talk to the referee is the captain if you have a problem. But
Oh,
I got four yellow cards.
oh
And
no.
if you get four yellow cards like throughout the season, then you have to sit out the
Yeah,
next game. And so I
that's
had to
tough.
sit out a very important game that I did not
Oh,
want to sit
dang.
out. So I learned how to keep my mouth closed
Yeah,
very
that's good.
quickly.
That's good. I'm playing the six here, and like that's not like my natural position. I don't think I'm more like attacking.
Oh, you're
And
sick.
so, yeah, it's interesting.
How you feel about
Learning,
that?
I don't love it, but I'm like, for this season, it's fine. I'm sure it'll make me into a more well-rounded player. So we'll just take it with what we got.
Hmm.
But at that position, like I have to like stop the play a lot of times to like stop the counter attack. So I've gotten a handful of yellows, but it's
Hey,
fine. Whatever.
respect.
Part of the job. Part of
Respect.
the
I like feisty Rylan.
job. Yeah, it's she's here. She's in action in Denmark.
She's in action. She's forced to be in action.
Yeah.
It's okay that you're versatile. Now you can like advertise yourself in multiple positions.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but we'll
Stop it.
believe it.
Stop it. Stop being so humble all the time. Okay. So you are part of a growing wave of North American players who are taking their talents abroad. Woohoo!
That's us.
What do you see as the biggest advantages and disadvantages of competing in an international league? And how do you think these experiences will shape your long-term career?
Hmm. Um,
It's a good question.
it is a good question. I think like with the team that I'm on now,
Hmm.
I was like needing experience because at current last year I didn't like get a ton of minutes. And so I'm like, if I want to play pro, I need actual experience, not just like training. I need to like be in the games, like experience a different pace. Um, and so I think that's helping me. It's just like getting experience. Even though it's not like the top league in Europe, it's still a higher level than college and yeah, still like pro. So people are yeah, just better. Um so I think yeah, getting experience is like what's the most important right now. I kind of forget the rest of your question. Will you re-ask it?
Okay. Just like what are the biggest advantages and disadvantages of competing in the international league? And like
Okay, yeah.
how we can focus on that one first. So take
Okay.
your time.
Yeah. I think another advantage is just like getting to live abroad. Like I've lived in Kansas or Missouri my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've like in the year 2024, so I moved to Denmark in January. I think I'm gonna have gone to like 9 different countries this year. So that's been fun, like getting to be a little traveler on off weekends and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't know I like really had a desire to travel that much, but now I do. Now I'm like, I'm gonna see all these places, because they're just cool and you get to see different cultures and different like architectures and yeah, just different ways that the world is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really fun. I think that's a big advantage. You can travel for cheap,
Yeah,
which is good because
I
yeah,
agree.
we don't have a lot of money, so that's nice. Um, and I think it's like grown me a lot in being independent. I think like you're forced to. You kind of talked about it earlier. It's like you have to put yourself out there a little bit. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like if I want to have friends and survive in a country where I moved here not knowing anybody. And so I'm like, if I want to survive out here, I have to like be okay with being alone
Mm-hmm.
and then be okay with like trying to get to know people and create friends that like obviously it helps being on a team because it's like okay these are my chunk of people that I can become friends with um so that's really helpful
Mm-hmm.
but getting to have friends with different yeah like life experiences. I think growing up in North America a lot of us have similar, at least like the girls we played with at KU have like similar upbringings. Everyone's different but similar, but here it's like so different. I'm like, oh, you guys like do that so differently than the way I grew up. So I think that's an advantage, getting to meet the different people of the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard to say goodbye to, like,
Yeah.
after you've been with someone. Like, that's the hard thing about, I feel like, abroad is that, you're not gonna be there forever. And like the
Hmm.
relationships and like friendships you develop, like having to say bye afterwards is kind of hard.
Yeah.
I
I'm gonna
have,
start crying right now.
I,
Don't.
tears are coming down. I miss my friends in Finland.
No. Oh.
No, but no, I completely agree with you. And like I honestly am really happy for you that like, you're making the most of it and you're like traveling and putting yourself out there because that's not always easy. Like it's
Hmm.
it's much easier to kind of just like, give up, put yourself in a hole and kind of just like, do what you're supposed to do, go to training, come back and that. And I feel like it's like a lot harder to have to actually try to put yourself out there and make new friendships who's like not your usual culture
Yeah.
that you're used to and the environment you're used to and doing it alone is hard, like not having your usual support system. So I'm
Yeah.
proud of you. I'm happy
Totally.
you're enjoying it. I'm glad
Thanks.
you're liking the traveling. Where have you traveled to so far?
Um, I've been to Sweden, to Croatia, Greece, Spain. I'm going to the Philippines in like 2 weeks.
You are sorry.
Yeah.
I hope that didn't hurt people's ears. Really? When are you going?
Yeah. The end of November, like for the last week. We finish like November 24th, and I'm going the next day. So
How long are you going for?
for a week. My best friend lives there.
Oh, see, I
Yeah.
never liked Filipinos.
Well, she's American, but
Still like
she lives there.
Filipinos.
I will for sure meet Filipinos before I
Dang.
go.
I go
Yeah.
to I go to Philippines. Well, I might go to Philippines twice. Maybe at the end of November. It
Okay.
maybe I'll tell you why later on. But like I
Yeah.
might go to Philippines later on at the end of November. So maybe I'll see you there. But if not, then we miss each other because I go to the Philippines with my family like
Oh,
during around
fun.
Christmas time to visit like
Fun.
grandparents there. Well, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I know.
So exciting. You
Yeah.
love it there. I've only been there
I
once,
think
don't
so.
really remember, but I heard it's a great place, so you'll love it there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have no idea what to expect, honestly. So we'll see.
No, you'll have a good time. Trust me. Filipinos are the best.
Okay.
Okay, as a successful female athlete competing internationally, what are some of the challenges and triumphs you've encountered in women's soccer? How do you feel the landscape of women's sports is evolving?
Hmm. Um, I think different challenges at every club. Um, like we don't have the most resources, which kind of makes it tough. Like we don't really have resources for recovery or
Mhm.
like medical stuff, which is
Hmm.
tough. You're like kind of just hoping your body can like maintain, which is kind of a scary thing because it's
Yeah.
like, especially when you're playing with refs that don't call anything, it's like,
Hmm.
this doesn't seem like it makes sense. So, yeah, I would say the resources, especially coming from like US college soccer, where it's like majority of places have like all the resources you need. And
Hmm.
so that's kind of an adjustment of like, okay, what can I do beforehand to make sure my body's ready, knowing that like I'm not going to get the most treatment that I might need. So I'd say that's a big difference. And just like coming from the league in the US where like they're pushing women's like equality in all these different areas. Like not every country is on that same like trajectory. That's the right
Yeah.
word. I don't know.
No, yeah, I get
Like
what you're saying.
like right now they're not quite there. So it's like yeah, going from a league where it's like okay, we're going and then moving here. I'm like okay, now we're back down here and we're like trying to make improvements. So that's kind of different of like seeing what like our men's club gets or men's team in the same club gets versus what we do is just like,
Hmm.
well, that doesn't seem right. And so I'd say that's like definitely a challenge. It's not make or break like at all. I think that's part of life for now. So I would say that is a challenge though. Trying to figure out how to maximize what we can with very little resources.
Yeah.
Definitely builds you in character. And I'm grateful for that because character will last me forever.
Hmm.
But yeah, it is definitely a challenge, I'd say.
Yeah, I feel like in college we don't realize how like privileged we are,
Oh, yeah.
like as student athletes, until we like go somewhere else. Like I agree with you with the fact that I feel like North American soccer, I feel like they're pushing a lot more for like the involvement, that's the word, right?
Hmm.
Involvement,
Hmm.
involvement of like women's soccer and like, trying to get equal pay and just, pushing for like more pro leagues for women's soccer as well. Whereas I feel like in Europe, they're trying, but they're like not there yet. Like you can
Yeah.
very much see the differences in how men's teams are treated in Europe than like women's teams. Like we kind of had those issues too with
Yeah.
like the team, like the current team I was on as well. Like men's clearly got like a lot
Yeah.
more advantages and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And I kind of feel like that's kind of where Europe's kind of lacking right now.
Yeah. I
But
agree.
but it makes you realize like how far like North America has come to like,
Yeah. Totally.
get get the quality that women deserve in sports. Which I mean, we still got a lot way to go, but like we're
Yeah.
definitely in a way, way better place than I feel like other countries are.
Yeah.
I
I'd
agree with
agree.
you. So, as we approach the end of our conversation, what advice would you like to give young players who aspire to play professionally like you?
Mm. I kind of just talked about character, but I feel like character is like one thing that you can kind of control. Like you can't control what resources you have. You can't control necessarily like where you're going to play. You can't control the style of soccer. You can't control like what position you're gonna play.
Hmm.
Um, so those are a lot of things like control. I feel like your character and your attitude um is like what will make you able to persevere through all the changes and the ups and downs.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just being on different teams where my role has been very different. Like at KU, I was yeah, one of the older ones, one of the leaders, and then going to current, I was like the youngest, definitely like a learner where I was like
Hmm.
barely opening my mouth when it comes to soccer things. And then
Hmm.
yeah, just like had to learn a new role of like what does it look like to be a bench player? What does it look like to like sub in the 84th minute and play 6 minutes rather than it used to be playing 86 minutes.
Hmm.
And so um yeah, I think yeah, having character where it's like, okay, whatever comes, we're gonna figure out how to manage it. Because those are things that you can control and like finding the joy in it of like
Hmm.
why do I like this game so much? Why do I want to keep playing post college? It's like I just enjoy it. It's not a forever thing. We're not going to be able to play soccer forever, but we get to for now. So it's like, how can I yeah, find the joy, let this fill up my cup, and enjoy it rather than letting it like drain me and deplete me. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'd say that's my advice. Enjoy it while you can. And yeah, focus on the character, even when things might not be going well and circumstances might not be what you want. It's like you can focus on how you respond to it. Um, and then I'll make the journey more enjoyable.
Rylan, I love that. That was great. I like
Thanks,
that.
Kayla.
That's important. I really like what you said. But thank you again for taking the time to be on this One Soccer Nation podcast with me.
My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.